Good morning, wonderful, amazing, fantastic geometry students. This is Ms. Youngblood here, bringing you today's review topic, which is arc measures and equations. This will be our last review topic. Next week is technically spring break, but I'm not exactly sure how the district is going to be moving forward with the extended school closure period. So once I get more information about that, I'll get back to you guys probably by Tuesday, Wednesday, more likely, about what we're going to continue doing as far as distance learning and continuing with these videos, posts to help you guys keep your math skills strengthened during this time. But let's jump into this assignment that was posted on Google Classroom. Again, we are focusing on arc measures and equations. We reviewed this right before the closure began. I'm going to start by looking at number 4. The key thing to remember about central angles. So we're focusing on central angles during this assignment, and for our geometry unit, just because they're a little bit easier to understand. The key thing to remember is that central angles are equal to the arc it's across from. So for example, we'll just quickly look at number 2, even though I didn't write the final answer for number 2. Problem 2 on the assignment, they ask us to find the measure of angle QPR. So to find that angle, it's helpful to note that a full circle adds up to 180. If they tell us that this arc is 42, that means this angle is 42. As we've already learned in a previous unit, a straight angle is equal to 100 degrees. Also, like I just said, a full circle is 360. A straight angle is half of a full circle, so that's going to be 180. So to find the measure of angle QPR, all we would have to do is subtract this angle or arc of 180 by 42. So 180 minus 42 gets us 138. So our answer for number 2 should be 138 degrees. So this arc is equal to 138 degrees, and this angle is equal to 138 degrees. So that final answer is 138 degrees. The key thing to remember when solving these problems is that a circle is 360, half a circle is 180, and as I just said, the measure of the angle and the central angle and the arc across from it are equal. So let's look at 3 more problems on this sheet. We're going to look at number 4. Number 4, we have the measure of angle TXW. This angle here, TXW, that's what we're looking for. So again, as we just reviewed in the previous problem, half of a circle is going to be 180 degrees. So we're given a diameter. At the top of the assignment, it says that if you're given a straight line, just assume it's the diameter for the sake of simplicity. So again, we're given this diameter, so that means this arc is 180 degrees. They tell us this arc is 80, so we do 180 minus 80 to get this piece, which is 100. So since this arc is 100, this angle has to equal 100 degrees as well. So the measure of angle TXW is 100 degrees. Let's jump down and look at problem 6, I believe. Yes, problem 6. So for problem 6, it's a little more work involved, but still the same process. So again, as I stated, you want to keep in mind that a full circle, the inner angles or the arc measures is going to be equal to 360 degrees. So each of these arcs has to add to 360, or each of these angles has to add to 360. Doesn't matter, means the same thing. So this arc is 138 degrees. This arc is negative 19x plus 1. This arc is 107 degrees. As we said, all 3 arcs have to add to 360, so all I did was add all 3 arcs and set it equal to 360. So we have negative 19x plus 1 plus 138 plus 107 equals 360. Now we're solving an equation, so start by simplifying. I simplified by combining like terms. So 1 plus 138 plus 107 got us 246. You want to isolate the x by first subtracting 246 from both sides. We're subtracting from both sides to keep the equation balanced. We're subtracting because we want to cancel this. It's positive. So positive 246 minus 246 is 0. 0 plus negative 19x is just negative 19x. On this side, we get 360 minus 246 is 114. Our last step to get x by itself is to divide both sides by negative 19 to keep the equation balanced and cancel out this multiplication. So negative 19 divided by negative 19 is 1. 1 times x is x. 114 divided by negative 19 is negative 6. So our value for x is negative 6. So for this problem, the key thing to remember was that all three arcs add to 360. And the last problem we're going to review, number 7, all we really have to remember is that the central angle is equal to the arc across from it. So we just have to set up an equation setting 70 equal to negative 8x minus 2. So I set up that equation here. Again, to get x by itself, we have to cancel with addition or subtraction first. Since we have a negative 2, we're going to use addition. Negative 2 plus 2 gets us 0. 70 plus 2 gets us 72. And again, negative 8x plus 0 is just negative 8x, so we brought that down. Now we want to cancel this negative 8 with division because we have multiplication here. So negative 8 divided by negative 8 is 1. 1 times x is x. 72 divided by negative 8 is negative 9. So our final answer for number 7 is negative 9. Now let's look at the Khan Academy problem sets that were assigned for this review topic. I gave you 2 sets. One set just focusing on arc measure without equations. So the first problem in my set, we're given this diagram, and we're told in the figure below, segment BD and segment AC are diameters to circle P. So that means this is a diameter, this is the diameter. The reason they tell us that is so that we can see this. These are full segments. So we're going to have vertical angles. Angle APB and angle DPC are going to be vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles are equal. So if angle APB is 90 degrees, angle DPC has to be 19 degrees as well. If this angle is 90 degrees, that means this arc must be 19 degrees. So the final answer for this one is 19 degrees. In this next problem, we are shown that, we are told that in this figure, segment BD and segment EC are diameters. So again, they're telling us this so that we know that this arc is 180 and this arc is 180. And we are asked to find the measure of the major arc ABE. So remember, we talked about the difference very briefly between major and minor arcs. A major arc is going to be bigger than 180 degrees, a minor arc is going to be less than 180 degrees. So the major arc ADE, you start at A, you don't cut through E to get to D, you have to go all the way around the circle. So we start at A, then go to D, then E. So we're asked to find this whole part of the circle. The way I saw this problem, there are multiple ways to do it. If you have a different way you'd like to try, just feel free to leave that comment below and I can help walk you through it, just depending on how your brain saw it first. But the way I first saw how to do this problem was to try to take care of the most amount of space as possible. So again, we're looking at this whole arc, ABE. So my brain told me, okay, well, I know that this part is 180, right? Because that's half the circle. I know this part is 63 because I have vertical angles. And I know this part is 90 because of this right angle. So what I'm going to do is do 180 plus 63 plus 90. And that will get me this arc ABE. Again, maybe going this way might help you see it better. So this part is 90. This part is 63 because of this angle. And this whole part here is 180. So we're just going to add those three numbers together. So 90 plus 63 plus 180. And that gets us 333 degrees. Which I obviously wish I would have checked first. So 333 degrees is going to be our final answer for that one. Again, all I did was 90 plus 63 plus 180. This problem was a little nicer. So they just asked us to find the measure of arc AC. That's this arc here. So we just need this arc, which is 70. this arc, which is 104. So to find this whole thing, we're just going to add them. 70 plus 104 gets us 174 for that problem. The last problem in the set, they were all pretty different, which I actually like, so you guys get exposed to different ways. But the last problem in the set is again a little bit different. Again, they start by telling us that BD and AC are diameters. Again, they're telling us this so that we can recognize that this whole thing is 180 and this whole thing is 180. And also that we recognize that these are two segments intersecting, which make vertical angles that are equal. So if this is 19 degrees, this angle has to be 19 degrees. So we're asked to find the measure of arc DBC. So we're going to start at D, go directly to B, and then end at C. Again, we can't cut through C because it's still a part of that arc. So we're finding the major arc DBC, this whole arc. So we're excluding this little arc here. So it might be easiest to subtract to find the measure of that arc. So if we know this whole thing is 360 and we just want to take away this little arc, well, like we just said, these are vertical angles. This is 19, so this is 19 because we have a central angle here. The central angle is equal to the arc across from it, so this piece has to be 19. So to find DBC, we're going to do 360 minus 19, which gets you 341. Again, I did 360 minus 19 and got 341. In the next problem set, we're now working with expressions and equations. So they tell us that we have a circle down below, and they're asking us to find the measure of arc BC. So we know the measure of arc BC is equal to 6n. So first you have to figure out what n is. As we've already discussed, all the angles in a circle or all the arcs of a circle have to equal 360. So we know this arc or angle is equal to 13n minus 16. This arc and angle are equal to 7n plus 12. This arc and angle are equal to 6n. So we can add all three of these expressions together and set them equal to 360. I did that here and solved it out to find n. So again, here's the equation. Adding them all together so them equal to 360. I combined the negative 16 and the 12 to get negative 4. I combined the 13n, 7n, and 6n to get 26n. Again, we're combining like terms in this row here. Now you want to get n by itself, so we're going to add 4 to both sides to keep the equation balanced and cancel out the subtraction. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, 26n plus 0 is 26n, and 360 plus 4 is 364. Now we're going to divide both sides by 26 to keep the equation balanced and cancel out this 26 here that's being multiplied by n. 26 divided by 26 is 1. 1 times n is n. 364 divided by 26 is 14. So our value for n is 14. Remember the equation, or the problem asked us to find the measure of arc BC, I believe it was. And the expression for arc BC was 6n. So we plugged in 14 for n. 6 times 14 is 84. So the measure of arc BC or angle angle BDC is going to be 84. In this particular problem, we're given this information and asked to find the measure of arc ABC. So, as we've done in the other Khan Academy set, it's probably helpful to find just this piece and subtract it from the whole thing, which we know is equal to 360. But first you have to figure out where y is by setting up an equation using these expressions and setting it equal to 360. So the equation that represents that situation is here. Nope. It's here. So we have 4y plus 4y plus 6 plus 20y minus 11 plus 7y minus 7, and that whole thing has to equal 360. We want to combine our like terms. So combine the 4, the 20, and the 7 to get 31. Combine the 6, the negative 11, and the negative 7 to get negative 12. We're going to add 12 to both sides to keep the equation balanced and cancel out this subtraction. Negative 12 plus 12 is 0. 31 minus 31y minus 0 is 31y. 360 plus 12 is 372. Now, to cancel out this multiplication, we're going to divide both sides by 31 to keep the equation balanced. 31 divided by 31 is 1. 1 times y is y. 372 divided by 31 is 12. So our value for y is 12. Again, we were asked to find the measure of the major arc ABC. So we need to plug in this 12 for y for that arc. So we would do 7 times 12, which gets us 84. 84 minus 7 is 77. Let me show you what that actually looked like, where that was in the original problem. So again, we had 7 times 12, 84 minus 7. So this angle and the arc are equal to 77 degrees. Again, we're asked to find the measure of arc ABC. So this whole thing, that's the whole circle minus this piece. So 360 minus 77 gets us 283. So again, this was the final step, and that's where the 283 came from. That concludes the examples for the arc measures review. The other problems in that set were a little challenging, but based on the strategies we went over on the handout and the 2 examples I did, I'm pretty confident that you can figure it out. Again, if you do need help, you can reach out on Google Classroom, email, text, or comment on the bottom of this video. I want to close out today's review session by looking at the daily reflection for yesterday, March 26th, and looking at going over my response that was on Google Classroom. So the daily reflection for March 26th was, would you prefer to be a successful business owner or make valuable contribution to someone else's business? My response was, I have never had the strong desire to start my own business. I believe that becoming a successful entrepreneur requires a certain level of discipline and desire to provide a service that is necessary and innovative. During high school, I recognized my passion for education. I wanted to assist in finding ways to make education, math specifically, more accessible and meaningful so that more students could truly identify what they are passionate about and use that passion to find and follow their dreams. There are already so many institutions and businesses with a similar goal that I believe it would be a better use of my time to assist them in their endeavors than embark on my own journey. If there comes a point in time when I don't believe the work I am doing for institutions is making meaningful strides in accomplishing my overall goal, then I may have to step out and create my own business that does. Again, that's my response to yesterday's daily reflection and today's daily reflection that I will be responding to on Google Classroom. On my daily post today, will be answering the reflection question, how would you describe your current situation and what is your next destination? So how would you kind of describe where you're at now? We're all in high school, so how would you describe being in high school as far as how it's helping you move on to your next destination? And I'll post my example of like what that really means to me in my interpretation today at some point on Google Classroom. My song of the day for yesterday was Faithful by Hezekiah Walker. Again, if you want to share your daily reflection or your thoughts on the daily reflection publicly, you can post it on YouTube or Google Classroom. And if you want to share it privately, you can email me or send me a text message. Again, these are just my check-ins, just seeing where you guys are at mentally. But you can text, email, call, whatever you need if you're in need of other resources or support. Just let me know. As I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not sure how the videos are going to be working next week. It's technically spring break, but I know the closure has extended. But we're going to be discussing how we're going to continue this enrichment or distant learning period. When I know more information that I'm able to share, I will be sure to let you guys know. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I will see you soon. Bye.